Aren't the videos and images I just showcased impressive? They were all generated over the past few days using the Wan2.2 A14B model released by Alibaba's Tony Wanxiang team. According to the official announcement, this upgrade introduces a 27B mixture of experts model, which incorporates meticulously curated aesthetic data. This enhances its generalization abilities across various dimensions such as movement, semantics, and aesthetics, achieving top-tier performance compared to both open-source and closed-source models like Seedance, Klang, Hailuo, and Sora. However, the Mo here doesn't include automatic routing. Two separate models were trained and released. Users have to manually determine the scenario and select between the high-noise or low-noise model, which adds complexity to usage. At the beginning of this video, I'll introduce the newly released models along with the community quantized versions. The rest will be hands-on demonstrations. Text-to-video, text-to-image, image-to-video, start-end frame video generation, acceleration methods, high-definition upscaling, and a side-by-side comparison with previous video generation models like Wan2.1 and Fusion X. This release provides two model sizes, 5B and A14B. The 5B model features Wan2.2's latest VAE. It's smaller but supports both text-to-video and image-to-video. However, I feel its results are average. If you're choosing the Wan series, you're really after high quality. So I recommend focusing on the A14B model. A14B comes in two variants, high noise and low noise, each with 14B parameters, matching the official manual Mo architecture, together, totaling 27B parameters. The high noise version is used in early stage generation for overall layout, while the low noise variant refines video details. Using both in tandem provides even better results. The specific workflow is a bit unique, which I'll demonstrate shortly. Given the large model size, several formats are commonly used, the FP16 version at 28.6 GB, FP8 at 13.3 GB, and GGUF ranging from 5.3 GB to 14.3 GB. You can select the appropriate model based on your GPU memory, using theoretical performance comparison formulas. This time, FP8 is a bit special. Many users reported that the FP8_scaled model from Comfy.org doesn't deliver great results. It's better to load the FP16 model in FP8 format or to use the GGUF Q8 model instead. Clip remains unchanged, it's still UMP5_XXL, and make sure to use the Wan2.1 VAE. Currently, there's no Nunchaku model, but they've mentioned it's in the plans since Wan2.1, let's see when it'll be released. Enough talk, let's run the models in Comfy UI and see the actual results. Usually, when running a newly released large model, you should check your Comfy UI version. Open the manager. Conveniently, the notice sidebar on the right tells us to upgrade to version 0.3.49 or later to experience the Wan2.2 models. If your version is outdated, you can update it with a click. I always stay up to date, so no upgrade needed. Click the Workflow Manager on the lower left, open the Workflow Template Library, and check the Video tab. The first 4 templates are related to Wan2.2 workflows. Let's load the first text-to-video workflow. The first node loads the high-noise model. I'll switch it for my local 14B model. As covered earlier, the FP8_scaled model provided by Comfy.org sacrifices image quality for inference speed, and it's just not good in Wan2.2. Here, I choose the FP16 model and load it in the FP8_E4M3FN_fast format. Use the same setup for the low-noise model. Clip can keep using the FP8_scaled format. Pay close attention to the VAE, only the 5B model uses Wan2.2's VAE this time. If you select the wrong one here, you'll encounter an error. So, use Wan2.1's VAE for this workflow. I'll update the prompt and set the seed to a preferred number for consistent results when comparing later. Remember to set this in both sampler nodes. Leave the other parameters as default and click Run. After a long wait, almost 10 minutes each for both sampling steps, the results are out, and they're really quite impressive. Let's take a closer look. She first gazes intently at the scenery. Then, as if sensing something, she slowly turns and gives the camera a gentle, hopeful smile. The transition from a medium shot to a close-up, as well as the play of light on the subject, are nearly perfect. This workflow runs fine, but there are some inconveniences, so I'll tweak it a bit. Extract common parameters from both samplers, seed, total steps, the starting step for the second sampler and ending step for the first, into a shared settings node. I'll also replace ComfyUI's built-in Save Video node with the more user-friendly Video Combine. Run again, no resampling needed, and it instantly generates the same video. This shows our updated workflow aligns with the previous one. Previously, I ran the FP16 model in FP8_E4M3FN_ fast which uses the same VRAM as the FP8_ scaled model. If your GPU memory is sufficient and you want to run FP16 directly, just use default loading. Or, if you want to try FP8_ scaled, swap in that model format. Here are results for both model formats with these settings. However, I recommend using the GGUF Q8 model. It offers results close to FP16 quality with far lower VRAM requirements. Add 2 GGUF loader nodes and select the corresponding Q8 high noise and low noise models, replacing the previous ones. Leave other parameters unchanged and run again. Another long wait, 2 sampling steps totaling 20 minutes. Put all 4 videos from different model formats together for comparison, see which one you prefer. Of course, results from a single seed can vary and personal preference matters. For instance, here FP8_ scaled isn't obviously worse, but technically, Q8 offers the best performance to quality ratio, so I'll use the Q8 model for subsequent demos. 20 minutes per video is a bit much, we need a way to speed things up. Let's try Sage Attention. Add the 2 patch nodes from KJ-Nodes plugin, one enables Sage Attention, the other enables FP16 accumulation in Torch, matching the optional setting in the ComfyUI launcher. Remember, there are now 2 separate model and sampling flows, so patch both. Run. This time, sampling drops to 7.5 minutes total, and the results are still quite good, with no significant visual difference from the unaccelerated run. In general, if you can install Triton and Sage Attention, both are included in my integration pack, this acceleration is definitely worth using. But what if you want to go even faster? Lights 2V's acceleration LoRA worked well with Wan2.1, let's try its Wan2.2 version. Add the LoRA loader node, select the corresponding LoRA, pay attention to version, noise type, and task to match the model. Attach LoRA to both high noise and low noise flows and adjust the sampling steps. The key benefit of this LoRA is reducing sampling steps while maintaining similar output quality. Set total steps to 4, 2 for high noise and 2 for low noise. Leave other parameters unchanged and run. This time, it's lightning fast, 46 seconds total. The output is definitely good enough, though personally, I prefer the color grading of earlier results. Still, the video quality meets the mark. Running more steps, e.g., 8, which takes only about 1.5 minutes, adds a bit more detail. Some community users have shared tips for this LoRA, like enabling it only for the low-noise sampler or using the Wan2.1 LoRA with Wan2.2 models, but based on my tests, these adjustments don't make a major difference. Feel free to experiment for yourself. Now, let's delete the LoRA nodes and talk about parameter settings. Wan2.2 natively supports Chinese prompts. In this workflow, the negative prompts are written in Chinese. When I previously tested the QuanImage text-to-image model, I found that it excelled at understanding Chinese prompts. Since Wan2.2 is another domestically developed model from Alibaba, could it also have this capability? Note that since we've removed the Lights 2V LoRA, let's restore the step count to 20, switch the prompt to the Chinese version, and click Run. In my opinion, the output quality is comparable. For users who are more comfortable with Chinese, there's no need to go out of your way to translate prompts into English. However, to continue our parameter comparison in the workflow, I'll switch the prompt back to English. In this workflow, we use both high-noise and low-noise models, leveraging the less common sampling node K-Sampler Advanced to run part of the steps with one model, then continuing with another model. By the way, our commonly used K-Sampler is a highly abstracted version, easy to use but limiting for complex customization. K-Sampler Advanced, Sampler Custom, and Sampler Custom Advanced are nodes that, in order, get progressively closer to the underlying architecture for more granular control. Previously, we allocated the steps as 10 for the high-noise model, then the remaining 10 for the low-noise model. For example, if you increase it to 20 plus 20 steps, the result would look like this. As mentioned in the model introduction, the high-noise model handles composition and video movement, while the low-noise model is responsible for details. We can try increasing each of their step counts, running 30 plus 10 and 10 plus 30 steps respectively, to see how the final outputs change. Actually, the differences among these 4 videos are minor, and all have rich detail. That's probably because each video contains at least 10 steps sampled by the low-noise model. Some users may say that this workflow is too complicated, loading the model twice takes time, and they just want to use a single model. In that case, definitely don't use the high-noise model alone, that won't work, and the video quality will be poor. You must have the low-noise model as a fallback. However, you can use just the low-noise model. Disable the loading and sampling steps for the high-noise model, enable the add noise option for the low-noise sampler, allocate all 20 steps to the low-noise model, and click Run. I think the result is not as good as using both models together, but the quality is still excellent and fully acceptable. For workflows using a single model, you can directly reuse the previous FusionX workflow. Load the workflow and replace the model from FusionX with Wan2.2's low-noise version. Adjust parameters like image size, CFG, scheduler, and shift to match Wan2.2's requirements. Click Run and wait patiently. The results look much the same, and if I set the same seed, I should get exactly the same output. Since we have this workflow loaded, let's try running it with both FusionX and Wan2.1 models to see how they interpret the prompt. Switch the model to FusionX. Revert the parameters to its settings, keep the prompt and size unchanged, and click Run. It's fast, sampling took less than 2 minutes. The final result is good, we'll compare it shortly. While recording, I carelessly forgot to set shift back to 1, this is the correct result for this workflow. Now switch to the original Wan2.114b text-to-video model, adjust the parameters to its optimal values, and click Run. After waiting more than 10 minutes, we get this video. Observing the 4 videos, it's clear that Wan2.2 and Wan2.1 emphasize softness, with smoother light transitions and more delicate skin textures. The overall atmosphere is warmer and more inviting, avoiding harsh highlights and delivering a more comfortable visual experience. FusionX, similar to Lights 2V, tends towards clearer or sharper images, enhancing dynamic range and 3D sense with more prominent highlights. Returning to the Wan2.2 workflow where we use both high-noise and low-noise models, let's continue discussing parameters. For anyone unsure about prompt construction, you can refer to the official documentation. The key formula is subject, plus scene, plus action, plus aesthetic controls plus stylization. There are many terms in the official examples worth borrowing, such as light type, lighting style, composition, etc. Don't hesitate to use professional terms, even anamorphic lens will be understood and rendered well by the model. I'll likely add a Wan model prompt generator node to MiaNodes in the future. Video dimensions are a common concern. With Wan2.2, videos between 480p and 720p perform exceptionally well. For instance, I've generated square videos at 640 by 640, horizontal at 832 by 480, and vertical at 576 by 1024, all working fine. Some users may want to generate large-size videos directly, but VRAM requirements increase proportionally with width times height times frame count. The largest I've managed is 1280 x 720, and probably only those with massive VRAM can truly test the model's limits. Wan2.2 generates video at 16 fps, so frame counts should be multiples of 16 plus 1. I typically use 33 or 81 frames. It's best not to go too long. I've generated several 161 frame, 10-second videos, and none were satisfactory, either content repeats or artifacts appear. If you like a particular Wan2.1 LoRA model, you can try it with Wan2.2, it might just work. I don't have a personal favorite, so I'll demonstrate using the Fusion X LoRA. Connect the Wan2.1 Fusion X LoRA for both high noise and low noise text-to-video 14B models. Set CFG to 1, lower the steps to 10, 5 plus 5, and click Run. I think this video turned out great. It makes me look forward even more to a Fusion X LoRA specifically for Wan2.2. If you want to increase video detail or upscale the resolution, you can use the Wan2.2 low noise model to resample with a low denoising rate. This is particularly practical for Wan2.2, because generating a single video is time-consuming and memory-intensive. You can start with a smaller size or fewer steps to get good candidates, then use this workflow for high-res enhancement. I'll demonstrate with 33 frames. First, upscale each frame by 4x using the 4x ultrasharp algorithm, then downscale with Lanczos to half size, resulting in a net 2x enlargement. Set the denoising strength to 0.2 during sampling. This will increase detail with minimal impact on the original video. Click Run. Note that after upscaling, the video size is quite large and VAE decoding will take a while. The result is here, a 1280 by 1280 video. For easier comparison, let's create a new workflow. Load both videos, pick any 6 frames, and use image comparison nodes to examine the details. You'll notice significant enhancement in clothing, hair, eyelashes, and other details. When introducing the Flux Crea text-to-image model, I mentioned that while Wan is primarily a video generation model, it also excels at producing images with superior natural lighting, portrait details, and enhanced scene ambience. It's also easy to use. Simply load the text-to-video workflow. Set the frame count to 1, and since images require less VRAM than videos, you can set larger dimensions. Let's go directly to 1280 by 720. Remember to switch the video combine node to save image. Click Run. A single image takes less than 50 seconds to generate a high-resolution picture. Lighting is incredibly natural, with nuanced highlights and reflections on the sea outside the window, perfectly replicating transparency and spatial realism. The subject's skin texture is soft and smooth, with gentle transitions between light and shadow, no harsh highlights or deep shadows, producing a warm, comfortable atmosphere. This was the same prompt used for videos. Now let's try a different scene. Again, it takes just about 40 seconds. This time, it's an indoor portrait of a woman with a strong atmospheric feel, layered background, natural ambient lighting, and detailed knit sweater texture, without the typical AI look seen in Flux models. As with text-to-video, you can add lights to LoRA for acceleration and use resampling for HD upscaling. Here's a workflow I've prepared. The prompt is for a woman on a train. Click Run. The original image took only 15 seconds, and with another minute for upscaling, we end up with a large 2560 by 1440 picture. Not bad, right? You can absolutely disable the upscaling step initially and focus on rapid sampling, one image every 10 seconds. This lets you batch generate hundreds of images per hour. Afterward, simply drag your preferred outputs into Comfy UI for upscaling. For the initial round of image generation, you can also try 8 steps. This allows high-noise models more room to operate, potentially improving composition. Since image generation is fast, this only adds about 15 seconds to the process. Wan2.2 excels not only at generating character images but also produces high-quality animation and illustration styles. Let me change the prompt and reset the steps to 4, then run it directly. Here are the results. You'll notice that the original images had quite a few blurred areas, but high-res upscaling has perfectly refined these details. The final images are vibrant, with clear definition and lively, engaging character designs full of narrative feel. I think this image is perfect for making a video. Next, I'll load a prepared image-to-video workflow, which already has the acceleration model configured. Upload the upscaled image. However, image-to-video models have a hard time processing images at this resolution, so let's use Resize Image to scale it down a bit. Let me highlight. When using image-to-video features on any model, it's generally best to input a large image, then downscale it before submitting to the model. This typically yields better results. I'll use the prompt Rabbit Captain striding forward. For image-to-video prompts, the focus should be on describing the desired dynamic effects and camera movements, rather than the static scene content. Click Run. Thanks to Light's 2V acceleration, we get a video in just over 2 minutes. Doesn't it feel a bit like a new movie, Pirates of the Caribbean, Rabbit Edition? I won't get into more detail about image-to-video here. I'll provide both the 4-step ultra-fast workflow and the standard accelerated version for you to experiment with. Comfy.org provides a start and end frame workflow for the Wan2.2 model, but to be honest, I think the results are fairly average. For this particular function, it actually feels like a step backwards. Load the workflow directly from the template library. Select your model from a local folder, and input smoke lines and a humanoid silhouette for the start and end frames. As with image-to-video, prompts should focus on describing the action. Run it directly. This is the default workflow with no acceleration, taking around 20 minutes. Here's the final result. I feel the start and end frame implementation is weak. The disappearance of the first frame and the emergence of the last frame feel like two separate events, as if you're watching a fade-in/out or cross-dissolve in a PowerPoint presentation. It might look passable in this demo mainly because my start and end images are similar. But compare it to the bag transformation video I tried, it's pretty obvious that it falls short. In the Wan2.1 ecosystem, VACE is a crucial component, offering many creative possibilities for video redraw and editing. For example, using VACE, I can input a keyframe, a head mask, and a reference image, making it easy to transform the fox knight in a video into a cat, a rabbit, and other animals. Expanding the mask can even turn the character into a young woman. But for Wan2.2, VACE hasn't been released yet. Only the Wan2.2 model supports control. Although Wan2.2 is published by Alibaba's platform for AI, which is also part of Alibaba Group, it wasn't developed by the Tony Wanxiang team behind the Wan models. It's more like an early preview product. Based on my Wan2.1 experience, I recommend waiting for the official VACE release. It likely won't be long. Wan2.1 can also work with the multi-talk model to generate lip-synced character videos from speech input. The author says the previous model can be reused directly in Wan2.2. However, most action LoRAs trained for Wan2.1 image-to-video don't work at all in Wan2.2. So you'll need to wait for creators to retrain them. All the demonstrations above used the A14B model. As for the 5B model, you can run it using the template library workflow. Just remember to use Wan2.2's VAE. Still, with the quantized and accelerated A14B workflow, there's little reason to use the 5B model anymore, so I'll skip it here. That wraps up the demonstration portion. Let's summarize. The Wan2.2 A14B model is undoubtedly the strongest open-source video generation model of the new generation, with very high-quality outputs. Using the quantized version allows it to run on consumer-grade GPUs. With Light's 2V acceleration, you can get processing times down to a practical range. Even if you use it for crossovers like pure image generation, it's still a top performer. Of course, it's not perfect at this stage. You need to use high-noise and low-noise models together, meaning each workflow requires loading 2 models. For machines without SSDs or with limited memory, this can mean a lot of extra waiting. Video resolution and frame count put serious pressure on VRAM. Outputting 1080p is basically the limit. It's tough to generate more than 5 seconds of video at once, so you'll need to extend or interpolate frames yourself. Compared to Wan2.1, the ecosystem is still lacking. There's no VACE yet, like having an image model without ControlNet. It'll need some time to catch up. Overall, though, this model is well worth using and likely to be my first choice going forward. That's it for today's video. Models, plugins, and workflows are linked in the description. Feel free to download what you need. See you next time.